Welcome to my review of the Drobo 5N. What's going on, everybody? My name is Tomas, and in this one I'm going to unbox and review the Drobo 5N personal and small business NAS solution. Full disclosure, I reached out to Drobo and they were kind enough to sell me this Drobo box at a discounted rate in return for a full review. Special thanks to Laura over at Drobo for affording me the opportunity to review their products. While I unbox this product, I'll talk a little bit about the Drobo 5N's features and specifications, and then I'll get into testing and talking about some of the things you should consider if you're looking into a network attached storage, otherwise known as a NAS solution. Taking a look around the box gives you a prelude to what this small box, big storage can do. As soon as you open the box, you're greeted with a really familiar term. If you've done any kind of research into Drobo or watched any Drobo unboxings, you've seen this statement before. Removing the accessory box reveals the Drobo itself wrapped in a Drobo recyclable bag. Inside of the accessory box, you're provided safety and warranty documentation, as well as a Drobo sticker, a 6-foot or a 1.8 meter Ethernet and power cables. In addition to the power cable, 100 to 240 volt power supply is included, which basically means you can power this thing pretty much anywhere in the world. The unit itself is solidly constructed from tin material and weighs in at around 8.5 pounds or 3.9 kilograms, without any drives inserted, of course. Definitely making this a desktop or a small rack solution. The front has a magnetic cover that, when removed, reveals the drive bays and also contains a quick reference diagram that tells you what the LED notifications represent. Its toolless design allows you to literally start plugging and playing. Status LEDs run horizontally along the bottom and vertically along the right side of the enclosure. The top and sides of the unit are pretty self-explanatory and house no I/O or features. Along the back, you're provided a single gigabit Ethernet port, spring-loaded power switch, power supply input, and one fixed variable speed cooling fan. The Drobo intakes air from the front of the device and expels it out the back. The bottom of the Drobo is equipped with 4 rubber feet and an mSATA bay. This is where you can install a data accelerator, which will speed up transfer rates. I plan on testing that here later in this video. Now that we've successfully unboxed the Drobo, let's throw some drives in it and test it. I will be installing two 3TB Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM magnetic hard drives into this thing. This is a testament to Drobo's true toolless design quality, as other NASs almost always require you to utilize tools and drive kits so the drives can be properly mounted. The Drobo is unique, as you can install any capacity, speed, or manufacturer into it, and it will pull them together seamlessly with their Beyond RAID technology. This isn't the case with other NAS manufacturers, as you're usually required to match capacities, speeds, and manufacturers, sometimes making it difficult or costly to upgrade in the future. Now that those are installed, let's test them. I tested this Drobo by directly connecting it to my MacBook Pro, then connecting it via my home network. I did not format any shares or create any volumes prior to conducting these tests. I literally plugged in the hard drives and began testing. One note is that performance will increase over time. As with any RAID solution, the data that is most frequently accessed becomes more readily available. Therefore, I expect that my transfer rates will improve to a certain extent over time. Back to the testing methods. I took a 1 gigabyte test DMG and transferred it to the default public folder on the Drobo, and then timed it under 3 different conditions: directly connected, network connected under the 2.4 gigahertz band, and finally network connected under the 5 gigahertz band. After those were timed and completed, I conducted a Blackmagic disk speed test to see its performance in real time. With the first part of my testing completed, directly connected through the gigabit Ethernet cable runs about 11-second transfer time of the DMG and is getting us roughly 73 megabytes per second write and 83 megabytes per second read. Next, let's take a look at the network connected through the 2.4 gigahertz band. I'll be connecting it through my Airport Express, which has been extended through my current generation AC-enabled Airport Extreme. If you want to check out my coverage on the new Airport Extreme, there'll be a link in the description of the video. In continuing the testing process, we'll notice a severe reduction in transfer speed, as the 1 gigabyte DMG is transferred to the same location in a little under 3 minutes and 30 seconds. However, that's to be expected, as all of my web-enabled electronics in my home are functioning off of the 2.4 gigahertz band. Following the same process, we'll test the real-time transfer speeds of the Drobo on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and you'll notice roughly 3 to 4 megabytes per second write, 1 megabyte per second read, if that. Okay, so let's test the 5 gigahertz band to see if it provides any improvement. It noticeably does. It completes the task in almost 2 minutes less than on the 2.4 gigahertz band, transferring the 1 gigabyte DMG in under 1 minute and 30 seconds. As for the real-time transfer speeds, the 5 gigahertz is clocking in around 11 megabytes both writes and reads. One thing to take note of here in my example, my Extreme produced a warning while attempting to connect to the 5 gigahertz band. I don't think this affected the test as I have my network extended for this very reason. If one goes down, the others carry the weight. Now the real fun begins. I have with me a 120 gigabyte M500 Crucial M serial ATA drive that I will be installing into the Drobo for testing. Again, I keep coming back to the toolless design of the Drobo. When Drobo tells you you don't need any tools, they absolutely mean it. The M500 M SATA drive is SATA 6 capable and claims 130 megabytes per second write and 500 megabytes per second read, which we have no way of testing because Gigabit Ethernet is not capable of pushing those kinds of read speeds. Okay, let's kick this portion of testing off by seeing what kinds of reads and writes the Drobo is now capable of while we're connected directly. There isn't much difference in transfer time from the original test, as the MSATA edition only shows a 1 second improvement. The real-time transfer rates are significantly improved, however, as we're seeing spikes into the 100 megabytes per second reads and writes. And just like we've already done, we're going to connect via the network and begin testing. The 2.4 gigahertz band and this specific test produced an anomaly, as the transfer of the 1 gigabyte DMG took an exorbitant amount of time. The transfer runs almost 8 minutes and 30 seconds long, which would be concerning if the Drobo was functioning this way regularly. I can verbally verify that this was an out of the ordinary result. I think the MSATA was still being initialized or something, because a week later I ran the same sequence and the transfer completed in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. You'll notice a significant improvement in real-life transfer speeds, as it increased to 3 and 6 megabytes per second write and read respectively. Jumping onto the 5 gigahertz band, the transfer completes in a little less than a minute and a half. Then running Blackmagic, it reports 11 megabytes per second read and write. That concludes my numerical performance testing of the Drobo 5N. Now that was a lot of information to try to remember, so I thought I would include some graphics. The first being Blackmagic results, starting with directly connected results of the Drobo, then moving down the line with the network connectivity. In this one, higher is better, as performance is measured in megabytes per second. The second graph, I want to highlight the anomaly result, as this should be disregarded because the actual performance is closer to 2 minutes rather than 8.5 minutes. In this graph, lower is better because it's measuring time, so the less time it takes to complete a task, the better. These results are all well and good, but you may be asking, how's actual performance? For example, you may be wondering if this NAS solution is capable of handling the task of streaming movies to multiple devices in your home. With that, I've tried to recreate multiple calls to the Drobo to see if it was up to this specific task. Here you'll notice I have 3 personal computers, a MacBook Pro Retina, a traditional MacBook Pro, and a black MacBook, each of which have 2 videos loaded on them that are stored on the Drobo 5N. I'll let this portion speak for itself, and I'll let you be the judge. I don't know if you're able to tell through the YouTube video that the Drobo 5N is definitely living up to the task on this one. There is no blatantly apparent lagging or sound drops on any of the 6 movies I have loaded on these 3 machines. And with that, my concluding thoughts. I'll start off with a list of cons to bringing the Drobo into your workspace. This was a difficult list to come up with, as there's so many great things about Drobo 5N, but I try to be as fair as possible in my review of products. The first problem with this unit is fan noise. It is extremely prevalent in a quiet room, and it definitely sounds like a mini server. When the fans crank up, you know the Drobo is in the room. Here, take a listen. Finally, and probably the most concerning to most of you, is the Drobo data lock. What do I mean by that? Well, If your Drobo box fails, there's no way for you to get your data off of the drives without another Drobo box. It's safe to say that your data is thoroughly protected against hard drive failure, but not against Drobo unit failure. It's a trade-off you make with the ease of use that comes along with Beyond RAID and what that brings to the table for you. To me, the usage, data protection, and performance outweigh my concerns of an actual Drobo unit failure. There are extended warranty protection packages available, and any new Drobo comes with a standard 2-year warranty, with options to extend that 1 year with Drobo Care. So, now with the pros. I'll make this quick. The cost of this thing, with drives included, is relatively low compared to similar NAS enclosures. Secondly, I've said it before like 10 times and I'll say it again. It is truly a toolless design, and it is absolutely awesome. I love being able to crack this thing open without having to remount drives or anything of that nature. Third, the ease of use with Beyond RAID and its data management, which allows you to manage different drive sizes, speeds, and manufacturers, getting the best possible result and space out of those drives. This thing is definitely made for the novice, inexperienced NAS administrator. And finally, having the ability to directly connect to your Drobo is a huge plus in my eyes. I've had other NAS units that that did not allow me to directly connect that storage to my system, and I had to connect through the network. So being able to directly connect to your system, transfer some data, or complete a time machine backup, and then plug that system into your network and have it run seamlessly is worth it in and of itself in the time savings that you can realize with that. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you liked what you saw in this review, feel free to leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. I value your feedback, so feel free to comment and ask questions as well. In addition to that, I'm going to set a personal goal with this video. If I get 100 likes and you guys want some more coverage on workflow type stuff with the Drobo 5N, let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely oblige and continue coverage by making another video. In addition to that, feel free to check out my channel. I plan to bring you more videos just like this, and a variety of them, technology based of course. If you like what you've seen here and what you've seen on my channel, you're more than welcome to subscribe. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you are doing well. Take care.